Alright, today I'm going to talk to you about a number of things. Recently, I've finally gotten my order from FastTech, and it was for another Nemesis clone. The reason I purchased another one is because reading on the forums, it seems that the one I purchased wasn't the best one to get, because there was like several issues that I was having with the one, so I figured might as well try the other one because it was cheaper actually too, which was ironic because the original Nemesis, which I don't think I ever did a review on, or at least I never uploaded it, but it looks like this, and I've had it for a good couple months because I got it around Christmas time, and well, really around the first of the year because it took forever to get here, but it costs like $24 or $26. I'll put the exact SKU numbers below so you can see, because a lot of times they'll change the name of the device, so it might be difficult to find that way, but if you put the SKU number in, it will take you right to whatever it is. There are several versions of this specific clone. There's like a brass version, a mixed metal version. The difference between these two is the posts, I believe. Like, one of the posts are silver plated, the other one is not, and the finishes are different. But honestly, like, I just got the one today, but I can already tell that I'm gonna like it better for a couple of reasons. One of which, and if you do take the bottom cap apart, which I did unintentionally, you have to be very careful because there's a pin inside, which I'll take it off so you can see, but there's this little tiny gold pin that goes in between the post and the rest of the switch, and basically it keeps the whole thing from turning like this. And if you can see like the groove that's like right there, it's similar to that if you can't see it when I pull it back. Well, I'll just take the pin out. But there's like those little notches in there, and you can see like when I turn it, like those are supposed to line up right there, and there's like a pin that goes right there, and it keeps it stationary. So when you're unscrewing the pin to like adjust it or anything like that, it'll keep the whole thing from spinning around. And that is a pain, and you know what? I don't know if mine just didn't come with a pin or if I lost it. I'm thinking that it didn't come with it because when I'll show you the other pin or whatever, or the other bottom cap, like the pin is very hard to remove, and I don't know if it's a defect in that specific model or what, but like I upgraded this one to a magnetic like switch or whatever, because normally it would have a spring, which I'll show you in the other one, but that was separate. I didn't get that from FastTech. It didn't come with the model, but I upgraded to a magnetic pin hoping that the firing issues I was having would be solved, and this is before I knew about the whole pin thing, because like I didn't even know there was a pin because I never saw it, so I either lost it right away or it didn't come with one. I'm not sure, but not having that pin causes a lot of issues. Like, it causes connectivity issues because it doesn't keep the pin at a certain height or whatever you want to call it. It doesn't prevent the whole thing from spinning, which is really a pain when you're trying to put it back into the device because it doesn't want to go in. It'll just keep spinning freely and not want to go into the bottom. But that's like one issue, and that could have just, like I said, been because either mine didn't come with a pin or I lost it right away, because I don't remember ever seeing it. And it's not like a huge part, but to me it would seem like it'd be big enough to notice that it's not there. So I don't know. So what I was going to do is actually put the magnetic part in the better one, or the newer one I got, but it won't do it for some reason, and I'm going to have to look into that after this video, basically, to see if it can even be done on that. And if it can't, it's not that big of an issue. But anyway, So that's one thing. And another thing that I noticed right off the bat, which people had mentioned about devices that they got even from the same exact SKU number, was that the engravings and everything were different, which is definitely the case in this, and it's even a different finish. Like, this one on the, whatever this is to you, is a little bit duller of a finish. I think they call it polished. And then this one's a little bit shinier, which could be good or bad, like, because these type of finishes tend to carry fingerprints really easily, but honestly, I don't know what they did to it, but it doesn't really seem to be doing that, at least not so far. But another issue that might come down the road is scratching. So with a finish like this, it's easy, you know, the scratches show up pretty easily. And like I said, I've had this one for a couple months, and you honestly can't see much of any scratching on it. So that's a benefit of this particular kind of finish. So that is a bonus, I guess, to this version. However, I do like the look of this one better for a couple different reasons. One of which, the etching, like I said, is a lot deeper. It's like you can see like the little angel or whatever you want to call it on this one is a lot like more apparent. Like, it's even deeper. Like, if you were to run your hand over the etchings or whatever, you can feel where it's indented, opposed to this one where it almost doesn't feel any different from the rest of the mod. And I guess that can be good or bad depending on your preference, but I prefer to see it a little bit more, because as time progresses, I imagine that the lighter one is going to come off eventually. And even on the bottom cap, you can see that one is definitely... My god, my cat is playing insane. But one is definitely more dark than the other. Like, it's a deeper engraving. I don't know why it's so difficult to... I don't know. So, another difference is with the cheaper one, you get more things with it, which is ironic, because normally that's not the way it happens. This one I paid like $18 for, and this one I paid like, it was like $24, $26, something like that. And this one comes with an extra beauty ring, is what these things are called, which is right here. This one comes with 2, and then your extension cap, which can be used for if you decide to put a kick on it. I personally don't have a kick. I probably will eventually get one, because I've heard good things about it, and it might help with the adjustability issues that I have with both of these, really. I don't know, especially my RSST, for whatever reason, specifically has a lot of issue getting it flush with the rest of the device. It just won't do it. But that's what it looks like, you know, in its bigger version. It's not completely seamless, as you can see. And honestly, I might even be getting these mixed up, because they do interchange. No, I was right. So that one was the one. The only reason I can tell is because the finish is different. But that's what it looks like with the extension on it. And like I said, that's like if you're going to add a kick to it. And then if it's a little bit too big, you can always take this little beauty ring in the middle out. I actually do like the look of the extra beauty ring right there, as opposed to on the top. I mean, on the top it looks fine too, but I don't know, I personally like it better in the middle. That's what it looks like without any beauty rings on it. And then you can always put it on the top where the adjustable air control thingy is, which is another minor difference between the two, is the air holes on the more expensive one are slightly bigger. I've heard people saying that they got a device where it was a big difference, but I think those were defective, because the manufacturer did say, or FastTech did say, that in one shipment they had to go through a different manufacturer than normal, so there were differences in the models compared to people that have gotten it prior. And I don't know, so that is probably why that was so different. But on these particular models, they are slightly bigger on the more expensive one, but honestly, it's so small of a difference that you might not even be able to see in camera, but there's a very, very slight difference. And honestly, I don't really notice that much of a difference, you know, because like you can turn the top of it to make the air, you know, tighter or whatever, but usually my devices that I attach to it have an air control feature, or they don't require to, you know, mess with it. And then with the more expensive one, you get the same like kick extension tube or whatever you want to call it. And it looks about the same as the other one, except it does look slightly bigger. And I'm guessing that's because the other one has that extra beauty ring, so it kind of makes up for the difference in size of the extension cap or whatever. And that's what it looks like all together with the kick extension, and then I'll add the beauty ring on top, which I guess you could put it in the middle too, like I did the other one, but I just never really thought about it, because honestly I forgot that I even had the beauty ring or whatever, and that was causing a lot of my connectivity issues. But yeah, so when they're all put together, that's what they look like. And you can see one's a little bit bigger, this one's a little bit bigger than this one, but you get an extra beauty ring with that, so if that was put in, I would imagine they'd be about the same size, or even a little bit bigger with the less expensive one. Get the battery out of there. And I will say, whoa, that the threading on the more expensive one is better. What the heck? The threading on the more expensive one is better. The cheaper one is a little bit crunchy and a little bit harder to get on and off. Like, it's hard for whatever reason to find the threading. Like, it doesn't want to go super easily. Sometimes you have to like really fiddle with it. Why is this? Maybe I mixed the beauty rings up. That's the problem with having devices like this. They're so similar, like, I don't know. Like I said before, or started to say, the parts in between the two are interchangeable, but because of the threading issue on the one device, it is a little bit more difficult to get on and off. So that's just something to keep in mind. What the heck is going on here? But, I don't know. Like, and it could just be the fact that I lost or didn't get the pin of why I was having so many issues with the other one. But so far, the less expensive one has definitely been more, I guess, consistent. Alright, hold on. Alright, so I had the tubes upside down, that's why it wasn't going on. But anyway, this is what they look like when they're all put together with all the beauty rings and everything. So they're about the same size. This one on this side is a little bit bigger, like longer, when the beauty rings and everything else are attached. You can tell by, like, even though the bottom cap is kind of like, and that's another thing that happens a lot, is this stupid thing likes to come unscrewed. But again, that's the one that's missing the pin. I don't have nearly as much of an issue with this one. But yeah, so basically the thing that I don't like about either one of these is I'm going to put it all together, and I'm going to put my RSST on top so you can see. But there's always a gap, and no matter what I do, fiddling around with the bottom or the top, because you can adjust this pin right here. Because normally what you would do with this type of a device is you would screw on your device with this pin, kind of like, because it's like a screwy. You'd unscrew it, and then you'd screw this part down to where it's kind of flush with the bottom of the, the base or whatever, and then you tighten it on the bottom, so it's pretty much, as connected as it's going to be. And I'm going to take this extension off because I don't have a kick, so I don't need that. And then when I try to screw it on, again with like the kind of crunchiness or whatever, watch it not do it now. Alright, well, it's screwing on, but it's not firing. So it's like I have to make the pin stick out further. Like, if this works and I'm on camera, I'm gonna be pissed, because, like, I swear I was having nothing but issues with this. And now it's just not firing at all. Now, this is a common problem I have, and it just could be me, because I'm not used to having mechs. I've always had variable voltage type devices. I'm gonna try taking this beauty ring off. Oh, that's another thing. I gotta take this extra beauty ring off. Alright. So, yeah, see, now it won't even go in. So it's like with the beauty ring, it doesn't work, even though it should, I guess. But, I don't know, like, what I end up having to do is unscrew to make the RSST not sit flush with the device, so I can get the pin up high enough to where it'll screw on. So there's a gap. And it doesn't bother me so much, but ideally I would like it to be flush with, so it looks, nice. Basically, it's just really for aesthetics. But, I mean, if you're going to have an adjustable pin, it helps if it does what it's supposed to do. So, I'm left with a gap. It looks like that. But now it'll fire. So, and I've tried taking the bottom off and all that. It doesn't matter. But it just won't sit flush with this particular device. I don't have a ton of different rebuildable devices, so I don't know if this is going to be a common problem with the Nemesis, or if it's like more of an RSST issue. But it's just something to keep in mind. Like, I'll put my Omega clone on here, which I just got too. Do I have a coil in here? I don't remember if I do. But, like, yeah, I do. Oh, I was about to say it won't fire. It's firing. But you see there's a big gap still. And if I try to, like, adjust it to where it doesn't do that, and it will with the pin and everything, but then when you try to put it on, it doesn't want to go on. Or there's a big gap. Like, there's a gap, like, no matter what you do. It'll fire, but there's a gap. And then if I take that beauty ring, because there's that second one, like, you can see how high it sits up, and that, like, there's barely any room for any kind of threading, so that makes it even worse. So, I don't know, like, it could be just the battery. Like, maybe I need a, like, I do have a flat top battery somewhere. I lost my Sony 30 amp battery, which I'm pissed about, because I love that battery. It's what I prefer to use for these type of devices, these mechs. because it's got a very high amp limit on it. And I don't really sub-ohm, like, I don't purposely sub-ohm, but sometimes my coils will come out just slightly under what I can use it on my SVD, which is 1.3 ohms. So then I have to put it on a mech, and that's when I use this. Because I'm not really super big on sub-ohming, like, ridiculously, because it just eats through juice too fast, and I don't really prefer hot vapes or whatever, so it really suits no purpose for me personally. But I can understand if you like hot vapes, warm vapes, whatever, I can understand why you would like it, but I just personally don't, and there's not many liquids I own that react well with it. Most of mine taste better with a lower heat or whatever, but yeah, so I mean, it would just look so much nicer if it wasn't gapped like that. Like if I were to take the battery out, which is really the only way it's going to go down all the way, you can see how much better it looks when it's flush, which I mean, I'm sure you probably imagine it, because I'm sure it's how most of you prefer to do these type of things as well. So it's just a minor annoyance, and eventually I will invest in a better mech. I did a lot of research, and people really liked these, and for the price, because I don't know, I can't really justify spending a ton of money on a metal tube. It's weird to me, but I don't know. So, I mean, it looks nice and everything, and it works with the gap, but I don't know, would I recommend this to somebody? No, I don't think so, just because it's so temperamental, and if you're like a new vapor, which I'm not like a veteran or anything, I'm not an expert, but I've been vaping for a couple years now with a couple different places, and if I were new getting into something like this, which I wouldn't recommend anyway, but if I were new, this is not a mechanical that I would recommend, just because you have to do so many things just to get it to fire, and then the pin, if you lose the pin, you're pretty much screwed, because then you just, I don't know, and then it has the reverse threading, where it stops it from firing or whatever, but the one instance when I did that, for whatever reason, it was on this one, it actually locked it into firing, and it wouldn't stop firing until I took the battery out. And that's kind of scary. No matter how much I backed the thing up, it just would not stop firing. So I don't know, if I were to leave it somewhere, which I'm paranoid, so whenever I use this mech, if I'm not, once I'm done with it, I always take the battery out just completely, because I don't trust, because if you do set this down, it will fire, not always, but definitely will fire sometimes. So I don't trust it. So I just take the battery out completely when I'm not using it. And I don't stack batteries, only because I've heard bad things about it, and I'd just rather not risk it. So, I don't know. But anyway, of the two devices, if I were to pick one, I would definitely pick the cheaper one, because not only is it cheaper, but I do like the look of it better. It comes with the extra beauty ring, and it comes with essentially everything else that the more expensive version comes with, only, I don't know, it's better. I don't remember offhand if the posts are silver plated or not, but I'm not even entirely sure that makes that much of a difference, because I don't test volt drop or anything like that. I don't have anything to test that with, so yeah, I only just go by how it works. And I mean, the buttons are crunchy. This one's actually a little bit more crunchy, which is ironic because it's got the magnetic pins, which is supposed to make it better, or the magnetic upgrade, or whatever you want to call it. But I could figure out how to get the magnetic upgrade in here, I will. But the problem is, and I'll show you what the pin looks like. I don't think I showed you yet. This video is going to be ridiculously long, but that's what the pin looks like. It's right underneath that silver, it's like a gold little pin. And it just kind of sits underneath that silver adjustable pin, and it keeps it in place. It's where that groove was on the other device. And then, I don't know if you could see even further down into there, but it fits into the groove on that gold piece too, so it just sits in there. And I've tried removing it because it won't, the magnet won't go over that pin because it's too big, like it sticks out. Let me just take this apart. And see, there's the spring that would normally come with it. And that's weird too, because like the other one had a little miniature gold spring that went inside of it. Not really sure why. That's what the pin looks like. See a gold colored pin. And it doesn't come out, at least it doesn't come out easily. So I've kind of just left it in there until I can do more research. But if that's how it's supposed to be sat in there, then my other one did not come with one, because there's no way that I accidentally got that to come out, because it's in there. It's like, it seems like it's soldered in there or glued in there or something. Like, it's not coming out easily. But the magnet won't go over that pin. It only goes over that silver inside part. So I'll probably won't be able to upgrade this one, which is confusing to me, but whatever. Anyway, that's my kind of comparison slash review. Long-winded, but I'm sorry, I'm not very experienced with these type of things yet, and I kept having issues with it. But if you have any questions, put them below.